All right, let's talk about Waltham, Massachusetts. Now, it's about 11 miles northwest of downtown Boston. The city stretches along the Charles River and its neighbors with Weston, Newton, Lincoln, Belmont, Watertown, and Lexington. It has about 60,000 residents, and over the past 15 years, it has experienced a whopping 55% population increase in Latinos. Waltham has long been a destination for international migrants, but today it has a greater concentration of foreign-born, 26%, than the Commonwealth as a whole, which is only 15%. And while the town has certainly grown more diverse, the same is not true about the teachers inside its classroom. As a matter of fact, whites actually account for about 93% of the school system staff, and although minority students outnumber white students at all levels. But there is good news, and that's what we're going to focus on this morning, because joining me this morning are three women who are great examples of a changing and more diverse tide, as they are proud Waltham Public School staffers. We're joined now this morning by Waltham freshman housemaster Brenda Pena, who is from Puerto Rico. We have Paula Mendoza, a bilingual family liaison at the Whittemore Elementary School. She is Bolivian. And Maryjoe Renden, she's community outreach specialist for the Waltham Public Schools, and she is from Guatemala, right?
That's correct,
oh,
yes.
I got it right. Very diverse within even the Latino, because I'm Cuban, so you got four.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Now, I know I talked a little bit about Waltham, because a lot of folks watching probably don't think of Waltham as this diversity, but it really has been, because, and I'm going to go to you, because you're a product of the Waltham. You're
yes,
from
I am.
Waltham, right? So this
am.
is not news for you.
No, not news at all. And it's interesting because it's got a suburban feel, but there's this urban community as well. So I am a product of the Waltham High School, graduate of 1998, proud graduate. And to me, I was out of the system for 3 years. I worked there for 8 years in the Waltham Public School systems, and then I was out for 3 years and proudly came back, and I'm excited.
To give back.
Absolutely, give back to my roots and where I came from. And, I was always fond of the education system in Waltham.
Can I ask a question?
Very fortunate, yes.
Are any of your teachers still there? Former teachers?
They are, and I'm still in touch with my first grade teacher, believe it or not. She now lives in Texas, and Norma Rodriguez, and we are still in touch.
You got to send her this video.
I am going to send her this video.
Shout out.
I am.
Now, let me. So, what do you do for the school system?
Well, I started working for the Waltham Public School 12 years ago. Basically, I work with the parents. I do outreach for the district. I create ESL classes for them, and basically I training them how to navigate through the district.
En lo importante es que obviamente lo tienes que hacer en los dos idiomas, porque hay tantos latinos. Hay muchos guatemaltecos, muchos puertorriqueños, una comunidad por muchos años, pero están llegando diferentes comunidades también, ¿verdad?
Oh, definitivamente. La comunidad que predomina es la de Guatemala. Tenemos Salvador, México, un poco de colombianos.
Y los puertorriqueños de hace muchos años.
Hace mucho tiempo, sí.
Very good. Now, how do you describe your work?
It's very similar to Paula Mendoza's work. I work also with families, so working with families in workshops, empowering them to take ownership and to be behind the education of their children so that they're more successful and more career and college ready. So that involves working with families, with the educators, and also with a lot of community members.
Talk to me about some of the students and these hardworking, there's a lot of hardworking families in Waltham. I've always known that, very kind of God-fearing, law-abiding families, right?
Absolutely. They're beautiful people, as all families. They care for their children. They're very interested in the education of their children. They do have barriers. They do work 2-shift jobs. Transportation is a barrier. Language is a barrier. However, the three of us, we work very closely together in creating a very welcoming environment in all our schools. And that's been very critical in terms of welcoming families, making sure they feel comfortable, they know who we are, they know our names as well, and that's what we're doing, opening up doors.
And it hits home to you because you are from Guatemala back.
I'm Guatemalan as well, so it's very special for me to be there, and yes, I'm there for them. I want to root for my people, yes.
Good. And speaking of rooting for your people, you're kind of your people within the Waltham High, the freshmen, right?
The freshmen, yes.
Because you get to, what do you do? Because you have to follow them all 4 years?
I do. So, the beauty of my position is I function as the principal within that class. So we have our headmaster, Mr. Greg DeMayo, and then we have 4 housemasters. And so I am the freshman housemaster for the class of 2021. So I get to follow them along for the 4 years, which which really gives us an opportunity to establish some really nice rapport with our students and our families, and to really do some great work.
So imagine something. Why don't you give a shout out to the class? What is the class of what? Look into that camera and give a shout
Hey,
out.
class,
of-
2020-21, I'm proud of you.
Y usted, entonces, me imagino que lidia con muchos padres más que nada, ¿no?
Bueno, básicamente el rol mío es educarlos, ¿no? Ayudarlos a que aprendan. Pero la educación en sus países es diferente a la de aquí, definitivamente. Entonces, enseñarles cómo ellos pueden ayudar a sus hijos a ser exitosos. A través de eso me he dado cuenta que no solamente necesitamos traductores, intérpretes, necesitamos cambiar la mentalidad de ellos y educarlos. He creado un programa de ESL para padres con un programa que trabaja, se llama Homework Club. Mientras los papás estudian, los niños están haciendo tareas apoyando a sus padres. Esto ha traído un impacto emocional, psicológico y académico de gran éxito en esta escuela, donde hemos puesto como piloto este gran programa. El año pasado hemos tenido 45 familias graduándose, 68 niños en el Homework Club. Tengo la colaboración de los estudiantes de Bentley College que me ayudan con el Homework Club.
I imagine that part of the work that you guys do is at some point, I mean, you must have some incredible colleagues from all different backgrounds, right? And some of these colleagues, they may not share the same background as some of the kids, but they share the same passion and they want to see these kids do well. So I imagine that you have to sometimes help them in these cultural situations, because I imagine they do want to get better and really connect with these kids, right, Maryjoe?
Absolutely. I think, sometimes it's not only just the language, it's also the culture. And we all come with our own cultures to an educational setting. And how can we understand everyone's cultures? Again, we all are there for the children, for the students, for our adolescents, for the youth and our small students, but we need them to succeed. And what better way to do that than really getting to know everybody and establishing relationships, getting to know one another and shifting our understandings of one another as well. But we can only do that through dialogue.
All right. Well, this is a good start. I'm glad to see you guys here. I saw your picture in El Mundo newspaper, a nice big spread on that. But Waltham is a community that, you don't talk about Waltham when you talk about Latino communities. You talk about Jamaica Plain, East Boston, Lynn, Lawrence. But Waltham, I think it's 20% in South Waltham, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and there is a growing. I grew up in South Waltham, so there is that growing community of Latino students, and now we have students from Puerto Rico that are migrating over due to the hurricane, and it's been fantastic. It's growing, and I'm excited to be a part of it, to be able to give back to my community, and to serve as a mentor for not only for the Latino community but for all my students. I can relate. I understand the needs of the community, and that was my reason for coming back.
Good. Well, thank you guys for coming by. Go Waltham. What's the name of the high school football team?
Hawks.
Hawks.
Our
Hawks.
mascot.
Hawks is the mascot.
Okay.
Yep.
So you have a hawk as a mascot?
Yes.
All right. Go Waltham then. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, thank you for stopping by. Muchas gracias por venir.
Muchas
gracias.
All right. Hey, you guys look great on television. All right, when we recap, a young woman who totally looks great on television because she's vying for the Miss Massachusetts USA 2018 crown. You'll hear her inspiring journey. All the details right here on Revista Hispana.